Oh, welcome to the podcast. I've got an interesting topic to talk about to begin with, and it concerns us LGBTQ plus folk, but it also concerns the public too. So, there's an obvious mistreatment in current politics around LGBTQ plus around the world, but also in the EU specifically, and Turkey, for things. There's apparently been some scares about, for some reason, tracking data on trans people in the EU. And there's things in the UK that have happened over the span of last year that definitely are questionable, like taking people off transitioning registers or like medication and stuff. Can't remember the exacts, but Katie Molyneux did a video on this a while ago. She hasn't uploaded in quite a while, I'm surprised. But she details everything basically that's happening in the UK so far on the EHCR. Yeah, I found out about the Turkey thing as well, which is worrying. It's never a good thing, but this shows a real problem because, as we've known through science countless times, science has always answered the question: why the fuck are people LGBTQ plus? And it very clearly states in these studies that have happened numerous times, nobody is born LGBTQ plus. They develop it as they grow older, and they can realise it as early as toddlers. But it's not impossible. So surely people would have listened to that. But no, they go with the stupid shit and decide that they instead want to use their lack of knowledge and understanding on this topic to start making laws against us. Now, how fucking selfish are you? That's just ridiculous. So, that was actually the best way to address it myself. I have some ideas. One of the things that comes to mind is actually identifying as trans myself. And I say this because I've always stood in, not always actually, but for the past few years anyway, I've stood in solidarity with transgender people. As I'm pansexual myself, and all the less fight together. That's what LGBTQ plus is about more than anything at this point. It's about community and protecting our rights to gender identity and sexuality, or lack thereof. So it's really important to properly address this. But I seriously can't fathom how governments are deciding that we're invalidated in believing those things. Like, why? Even how? Like, this makes no sense in the slightest. So, I don't really understand what's going on here. It seems like a reach for billionaires to play a sick game with us or so. It's definitely linked to billionaires. It's pretty common at this point for that to be the case. And it just never makes any sense. Like, come on. So, I don't know the best option for this, but I don't know what to identify as exactly. Because I don't have dysphoria, and I don't want treatment. So, what can I even identify as? I think maybe I could just be something outside of the binary sphere. This way, even though I'm probably setting myself up for not necessarily failure, but being a target, I'm still at least doing something. I'm just an extra person in this list of many people. And then if they find out that I'm not actually on any medication, they'll be like, oh, well, okay, we can't do anything about this guy. He's clearly not doing anything, so why are we even tracking? So at least all these questions that I think you may need critical thinking for, but they might question it to begin with. And if they find out that I'm identifying as trans, and they find out that actually I'm not identifying as like a man or a woman. So I don't know, but it's really one of those things I want to do just to, again, bolster the numbers and support trans people. Because I would, like, it's one of the weird things as well I haven't really talked about either. It's about standing in solidarity through playing it like a drag queen or something, or just like a drag envy, like something like that. I think drag envy probably suits me more, if I'm honest, because I don't really think I have the appearance of a woman, no offence, or femininity. Especially if I am. I've got comb boobs like Lara Croft in 64, but I don't really have anything else going for me. So I don't know. I need some advice on this, really. Yeah, if I can identify as trans and even get that in the systems, it could possibly be very beneficial in the long run and just for our rights in general. You know, when these come under attack and they realise that, oh shit, we're bigger in numbers. And I'd encourage other people to start identifying as trans, but you know, there are problems that come with that. I do understand that. Because you unfortunately get cases where people might misuse it and unfortunately play into the narratives that far right bigots will constantly say. You know, trans people in sports, for example. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword in that sense. I don't know. It's definitely one of those things that's up for debate and question. And obviously, I'm talking about identifying as trans, not actually people transitioning, where there is actually zero problem. There is nothing wrong. Especially if you've done the research, you'll see it. So, I don't know, but that's the topic really. Interested to know what people think, if that's a good idea or not. It's important. And as usual, I still stand in solidarity with all LGBT+ people. And yeah, trans rights are human rights at the end of the day, and when we lose human rights, we are one step closer towards oppression. So don't let that happen. And I say allies need to get involved here too. So let's move on and also think about this topic more. So that's a weird question, I guess, around One Piece about what is exactly the most shocking reveal of the series. And given that it's so long and so complex, it's surprising how many plot points there are that have not even finished at the moment, but that just exist. And I finished at around Egghead Islands, just about halfway through, I think. I just found out that the Marines were coming to Egghead Islands, no surprise. To be honest, the Marines are everywhere, so, you know. But that means there is a lot that's happened in between. And I'm trying to like backtrack about what the most important moments are and what the most revealing moments are for that matter. Some weren't very well hidden. As in there wasn't no like foreshadowing. I hated the Sanji reveal that his family was supposedly wanting him back. Like, it was a good story, but there was no fucking clues. Until like, what was it? It wasn't. It was Dressrosa, yeah, that was it. So, there wasn't any clues until Dressrosa for that entire reveal, which is really bad, in all honesty. So, yeah, even though that was a pretty important reveal, it's not the most important one, which is weird. And we also learn about like the ancient weapons and stuff from Robin, and also the Long Islands, the road poneglyphs that lead to Laughtail. That's it. That was quite a big reveal. But then, as we get up to Wano, there seems to be more and more reveals. it gets me thinking, like, what is the biggest one so far? Because obviously, in between all this, it's like Luffy finding out that he had a third brother in his past, and then found out he's still alive. We should have said spoiler territory, but to be honest, there's so much in the show that you probably will forget, and I forgot a lot of things when watching someone review this originally. Holy shit, like, there's so many big reveals that it's hard to see which the most important one and shocking one is. I think the one that takes the cake for me is probably one that I also really like visually and stylistically. And you probably know what I'm talking about from the fact that I mentioned both those things at once. And also, like, technically audio-wise as well. That is not only just the most shocking reveal, but the goofiest one as well. It has to be Gear 5 Luffy. Without fucking doubt, and for some reason it's controversial. The fact that Luffy was revealed to obviously be Nika the Songbird, but also the fact that he was cartoony. And this didn't surprise me, to be honest. I sort of already knew that Oda had some sort of Western influences, and it wouldn't be surprising if he knew some cartoon ones. With Luffy being a cartoon character already, by virtue of being anime, it didn't surprise me much that he'd have that sort of thing, but at the same time it was surprising because I didn't even think for a second that Luffy's rubber fruit, the awakening for it, would be a fucking god. Does that mean there's a Gear 6 or something? Is that like the final form, if there is a Gear 6? Or is there a reverse? Like, who knows? Like Gear reverse? That'd be crazy. There's so many questions as well. Like, can Blackbeard even touch him? Can anyone actually defeat him? So it's very surprising. I think by far one of the best things about it, really enough, other than the very big lore implications, probably has to be the fact it was so cartoony. Like, the effects, the animation was amazing. The entire like goofy aspect of it, where Luffy just loses it, don't care. Also, like the sort of hints from what was it from Zal, that elephant person, I forgot. Yeah, that elephant basically heard the rhythm of his heartbeat, and yeah, like found out it was Joy Boy, which is extremely interesting. When I saw that, I was like, what the fuck? Why would Zal come to Wano? That doesn't make any sense. Also, how did it not notice Luffy before? I don't recall any moment like that. Or maybe it's just because Luffy essentially actually just died there in Wano, and the heartbeat rhythm seemed to have woke him up. And yeah, I woke up, obviously, the elephant guy, which I can remember the name. Definitely that's the best reveal, and also the fact it makes everything around him goofy and cartoony. Like seeing Trafalgar have a reaction like that is just, what the fuck. It's cursed, and also the Kaido as well. One of the best bits is when he's about to be hit by his own fireball, I think. He just says in a tiny voice like, "Mummy." It's so good. But that's probably my favourite reveal in One Piece. I haven't really talked about it before, I don't think. Yeah, I'll probably talk about One Piece more often as obviously it gets more popular in the world. It's definitely one of those shows I'd never regret watching now. It's literally my favourite show of all time. And it takes a lot to fucking do that. It's not just because it's got so many episodes, it's because it's so well written. It even triumphs shows I really like Dark and Gravity Falls and Amphibia, and even The Simpsons. It's just extremely well written, as are the characters, and the characters really make it for me actually. There's so many different types of characters and personalities that just work so well. Yeah, that's my favourite, most shocking reveal in One Piece. Even then, it's like the hidden century, which no doubt is going to be shocking in itself. I already sort of know what's possibly going to happen in that. I think I've speculated that it might be hidden because the government aren't happy with the result. And I think it's linked to Joy Boy, obviously. I think it's also linked to like people and pirates of the past, and essentially them giving a bad name. And there's also potentially like a darker side where maybe Joy Boy did some terrible things. I think Gulp sort of foreshadowed that with his comment on Roger. I think it was Gulp. I remember this quote from Gulp about Roger, where he said that Roger caused a lot of sort of pain and suffering, is it? It was just a lot of destruction. And it didn't seem like a government sort of comment, because Gulp isn't that close to the government anyway. But he definitely said that, so something along those lines. And yeah, like, it's weird. I find it pretty surprising that of all the things you could say about Roger, that was the one thing he chose. So maybe that is foreshadowing about the hidden century or whatever it was. Hidden century, is it? In decade, I can't remember what it's actually called now. It's going to be interesting. I'm waiting for the dub for Egghead Island to finish, then go on to that. Yeah, One Piece is fucking amazing, as usual. Really unexpected. I suppose like an extra bonus topic. What do I think about the world in terms of animal stuff, like animal rights and whatever? It's definitely an odd scenario, but see the way it's sort of portrayed as well, and because of Luffy, also it's sort of foreshadowed that he was Joy Boy back then. When he was surviving on that, what was that island? He survived in multiple places actually around animals, and it's always sort of portrayed that the animals, even in death, find Luffy's actions just really goofy. So it's very interesting from that perspective. I think because we applied so much of real life logic to these sort of things, it kind of feels like maybe you don't want to see like a. Actually, I don't know what to say exactly. It's fiction, so it doesn't exactly matter what happens. I don't know if animals want to die in that or not, but they seem to think they can take on Luffy, so it's one of those things that's often self defense, but it's portrayed in a goofy way. So it's not exactly wrong. Also survival. And no, Luffy does need that to do his stuff, really. Yeah, it's definitely a topic, sure. So let's move on. So another sort of topic right into the last one. This is why I think crime is going to increase. With corruption and everything that's going on around the world, I do think they're going to introduce laws that essentially change everything. We're already seeing this with surveillance and basically silencing free speech. This is happening in the US, certainly other corrupt countries too. There's a reason why crime would increase in those scenarios. People currently, if they've lived through the 90s and 80s even, are pretty happy with, well, what they used to live like anyway. Not so much now, but what they used to live like anyway. And I know myself, looking back on the 2000s, probably one of the greatest eras. Obviously the only one that I've lived through that's actually good. The 2010s onwards, no. It began to get shit, and then it got worse in 2020s. Or the 20s, as we should be calling it now, apparently. But I do find it's a really worrying trend because as more laws get introduced to address these so-called problems, so if you're not allowed free speech, if you're not allowed anything online, if you're not even allowed porn, like, that's bad. It's disgusting behaviour because this will just ruin people's lives. It will completely destroy people's lives even. But this isn't for the reason you might think. It's less about the issue of, well, the fact that things are being, again, censored and people are being punished. But it's more the fact that people will go insane because of it. And because of that, there will be other crimes that you wouldn't expect people to do, but probably would in the end because they've been forced into that. Some people to cope with corruption, that's obviously ruining their lives. The corruption of governments, that is, not people themselves, might even turn to cheap drugs, which can end up killing them. And that's probably even their intent as well, because it's offering so much, they might just try to end their life. So you'll have a genocide on your hands. So yeah, a genocide doesn't always come in the form of, let's point a gun at their head or point a bomb on their house or something. No, it also comes from within as well, from within those people. So it is a genocide. So when that happens, you obviously lose a lot of the population, and suddenly your economy stops to collapse. So people turn to more crime, and eventually it becomes a lawless country. Because nobody will bow down to be slaves. Military people will start killing themselves because they can't cope with the facts. And we're already seeing this with like Israel and Gaza. Israel soldiers killing themselves because they kill children. They can't cope with that guilt. So you end up with that scenario where you do something so fucked up, you literally cannot get people on board. And people will not even go into that because even though your propaganda machine might work, if you're not, people will realise the flaws sooner rather than later. So you have that problem of people like immediately jumping ship. And if you force them into that scenario, they'll know something's wrong. The more traps you set up, the more problems you'll find. Which is again the problem with things like surveillance and censorship and just capitalism in general. And the more of these traps there are, the worse it becomes. We're already seeing this with even gaming, which is where politics comes into it as well. But Nintendo are allowed to patent very, like, I wouldn't say they're quite niche, but they're very common things as well if you look close enough in the media. Not media, but fiction. But they like patent summoning creatures with a bubble-like thing. But believe it or not, that already exists in a few different places, but there's even like the fact of summoning a creature that they've patented, and that already exists all over the world. It's existed since like the 50s, let's say, which it most likely has, because writers existed back then. Definitely wrote about summoning things, so it even existed back in witchcraft, let's be honest, it has. So patenting something like this is absurd. It's corruption. Just through and through. So one of my predictions is, with this increase in obviously all these laws and stuff, you'll see more and more crime. People will literally turn to it to basically either get by or just to end their life. Like two of the only things that can happen from it. And people who are idiotic enough to vote for corrupt politicians will face those consequences again sooner rather than later. Anyway, I need to use the toilet. Gotta nuke my toilet in a sec, so let's move on. Supposedly another thing that stems into that crime topic we might see as a result of corruption happens to be a realisation that people have, because already conspiracy theories are everywhere, and the absolute worst thing you can do is be a corporation spreading a conspiracy theory, because this will backfire. I'm not fucking joking about this. It literally will backfire. Because if you spread this misinformation, people will start to doubt you. And when they find out the truth, which no doubt happens anyway, whenever a corporation lies or someone lies, people start to get mad and they lose their fucking minds. Isn't this what's happening now? So, you know, what we're seeing in the UK is a bunch of people siding with Reform. And they're delusional enough that they'll ignore everything else that they've said and just focus on the quote-unquote anti-immigration movement. So these voters are willing to push aside this shit. And with this conspiracy theory that it actually is, by the way, that immigrants are causing the most crime in the country and are taking over the country in a large population, people are losing their fucking minds. So there's going to be an increase in violence. We're already seeing that. There's going to be an increase in just communities just suffering mental health, which we're already seeing. There are people on the left constantly just seeing this shit go down and getting depressed. I've no doubt been there myself. I've seen people online who watch live streams of saying the same thing. And it's just absolutely fucking crazy to me that they were able to get away with this, and surely this must breach international law in some way. Well, there has to be something here, because these people shouldn't be getting away with saying stuff like this. And especially the people now as well who are spreading the same misinformation. It's very scary to just witness this crap. So it does lead to like a question of, well, how the fuck do we address it? Also, you just need to start being truthful, start being honest, and do the right things. Because what corporations don't realise, and they're very stupid, they don't realise that the people at the bottom, who are earning less than everyone else, are essentially what keeps them getting their fucking stuff, like their mansions, their offshore shit, their cars. Like, fundamentally, the people at the bottom are the pillars of an economy, from what I know anyway. I could be wrong with it, for sure. But that's my knowledge of it, my understanding through other videos and stuff. But anyway, at the core you got the people at the bottom who are not earning much. These people prop up everything else above them, every middle class person, every high class person, if you could even call it that. So they're fundamental to not just the existence of companies, but everyone else's existence is all linked. And, you know, to support the middle class, the lower class need to actually be working and be in a decent enough situation to even like support those people out there, so they can get luxuries. People in the middle class who obviously have luxuries, but not tons of them. Which is where the higher classes obviously most have like luxuries as its entirety, or pretty much the primary thing. So the middle class then have to work on the stuff for the higher class. That sort of is how it works, again based on the understanding. But you have people in poverty, which is the fourth one. So basically the people who are just like the lowest part of lower class. So they may have houses, but they might not be earning. And I've unfortunately seen like sick videos on TikTok about this. Actually, it's like a documentary about children in poverty, and they're actually covered in fucking dirt. They can't bathe. But that's how bad this has gotten, and these are the kids that are supposed to work for you in the future. What sort of fucking life do you think you're giving them? Because you're definitely not going to make them work for you. Nobody's going to do that. So, fundamentally, as usual, this complete ignorance of people at the bottom and the very serious issues that come around it, it's just going to lead to destruction. Not just of the world, but society as a whole, and then you just have nothing in the end. Eventually you'll just have a ghost town of a city and then a ghost town of a country. A ghost country even. because people will just be fed up, and then that's not even taking into account the fact you just leave them open for even more problems. Like, there's a vulnerability there, because a country could just come in, invade you, and nobody has a chance to fight against it. You know, all it takes is a few European countries, our neighbours, hello France, to come in with guns, all of us in poverty, and either kill us or arrest us, force us into prisons, kill us there maybe, probably rape us as well, that's another thing. And yeah, you've got a bunch of problems on your hands, and you only have yourself to blame. The billionaires are the worst people in the country. So, that's the problem. This does lead into a modern issue, which we're already seeing a lot of, especially with the rise in political violence and radicalisation, supposedly. Like, people don't understand what that is. I generally think radicalisation means politically motivated and violent. So those two just go hand in hand, really. Yeah, it can increase violence for sure, and when people are so like scaremongering and stuff, they will do it. We're already seeing that in the UK, because there's been countless stories since the anti-immigration stuff where people are turning their anger on migrants and even women and children, for people, and committing sexual assaults and murders against them. So that shows you that we're already grumbling, and we're already heading towards a dystopian future where eventually 90% of the population will probably be living in poverty, perhaps more, and there's nothing to really do. And we'll actually have a case of people who will just break into houses like on a daily basis, and even like try to get arrested. Like, you fuck us over so badly, the actual people who are causing problems start to look like saints because you've driven people to this problem. You know, even like some of the worst child abusers, like, you make them look like saints because you force people into poverty, you take away all their rights, so they have nothing to live for. And why the fuck would they listen to you? Like, if you offer them a job, why would they? Yeah, because it's going to be worse than what they're currently doing, what they're currently living through. And so they're going to go crazy. They're going to have mental health issues. They're going to backfire. So that's one of the big problems. But one of the things I have to note here, which is why I named it the NPC Epidemic, is we just see a lot of unreasonable people at the moment. And I'm pretty much convinced that there is a high likelihood that there is a case of, like, is it solipsism? I can't remember. It's like, there's this term, is it I can't remember the name. Solipsism, very self-centered, selfish, pretty much, over this one actually, philosophy. The view or theory that the self is all that can be known to exist. So yeah, you literally have this, and you have people with this self-awareness that nothing around them feels real. It's like when I heard about the issues around anti-LGBTQ plus stuff in many countries, I think like 7 years ago, like, I literally never knew about it. I've always thought, like, okay, naively, like, yeah, we seem like a decent country, we allow people of any sexuality to just live their life, and that's fine. And then I found out there are countries that murder them for that. They just kind of put everything on its head, everything that I previously believed. I thought we were in a completely peaceful world at the point, and really all that matters really is just getting rid of criminals. No, it was more than that. The deeper I dug, the more it revealed its roots. You have stuff like tradition, religion, billionaires, governments. There's so much corruption in these places, and rarely is it ever on the side of people that, again, the media is like pinning on that media is corrupt, but they're often pinning it on people who are progressive, who are left-leaning and have the lowest rates of crime. So that sows chaos, that sows many problems. And yeah, it literally means is a genocide. And again, as I said before, genocide doesn't take the form of gunpoints at a family's head. It could take the form of someone's own knife to their own throat. And it can also take the form of, again, someone putting a knife to someone else's throat. Just two random people. It's not impossible. And that's the problem with people will just go crazy, and in the Western world, where we've already been brought up alongside many things which have established itself, technology for example, even AI to an extent, that really needs to be regulated. But there's even things like board games, like if you remove that right from people, the board games are all fucking things, like that's gonna ruin people's lives. They're gonna lose their minds. You know, if you think a board game is too woke, like Monopoly for example, like how the fuck do you figure that out to begin with? And yeah, it becomes a dystopia, and so you naturally start to think the people who voted for this corrupt government are NPCs, and suddenly now you're in poverty and now you've lost your benefits from not being able to work, and you have no one else to blame but the people who voted for them, so you just stop taking it on any person. That's the danger. That encourages political violence. And political violence isn't often, it isn't just about targeting figureheads and stuff and spokespersons or whatever. It's also about the civilians, because that very well happens. You see it with ICE targeting immigrants. That very much is political violence. Like the arrests I've seen and how horrific they can go, that definitely indicates it is political violence. Because again, it's an order from a politician on the motive that immigrants shouldn't be there. That is political. And if it even is like the opposite side, like if we say that there was a protester who attacked an ICE agent, that's still political violence. So yeah, people are losing their minds. So I think, I can't remember if I included this in the last podcast, I even discussed a case where apparently there are gangs in the US who are putting bounties on basically the heads of, I guess, ICE agents. I think there's probably politicians there as well, let's not kid ourselves. But they're putting bounties there, and this has only happened because, again, because of ICE. There's likely been always something from politicians, but for ICE themselves, yeah, well, this has come about because of Trump. And you only have Trump to blame if anyone actually does this. And the mafia is definitely still wrong. Any political violence is. But like, holy shit, you make people lose their minds, you make people not feel safe. How do you expect them to stay calm? And that's kind of a situation similar to what I'm going through actually. I can't stay calm knowing that in the UK, reform could get in and take away my benefits. I can't live out my dream job, if it does come to that anyway, because I'm so shit at it. I spent many hours doing it though. Try. And yeah, I get thrown out on the street and then I don't know what to do. I have belongings, but selling them would put me at a massive disadvantage, because if anyone actually understood the autism spectrum, you know it's very hard to stay sane without having multiple hobbies, without having multiple interests. And you literally need them to get by. So yeah, like I feel like I'm going mad at the moment. I feel like there is a bit of solipsism in me. Not as a selfish, self-centered one, but the fact that it feels like I'm the only one with an actual head. I'm the only person that understands things. It's like, what is going on? It's absolutely nuts to me. So yeah, it naturally causes people to lose their minds. That's why shit like this shouldn't be allowed to happen. You know, one of the things I forgot to mention in the previous topic is we really need to make like an Antifa, but for a neutral party anyway, to make it neutral. And this would include like certain conservative people. But it should be like anti-O or something. Anti-O? So anti-oppression. That's what I was saying. Because even though that is technically fascism, one of the more common goals I think even conservatives can get on with is saying the conservatives who won't push for violence, make an important distinction there, is oppression. Because there are conservatives that can't understand. There are definitely people that can get on board with it and agree. What the fuck is going on with my throat? Oh. Yeah, that's important. So, I don't know what else to say at this point. I am just very baffled by the situation in the UK. I wish things would be better. It doesn't look it. Oh, I don't know at this point. Yeah, that's my warning, really, to billionaires and governments. Corruption leads to people losing their minds. And it could even lead to protests and being overthrown. And the more that warning gets out, the better, actually, because at this point, nobody should be standing for corruption. The US badly needs it, the UK badly needs it. Even Israel badly needs to be overthrown. There's so many terrible countries, and even Turkey, I'll throw that out there now. They're going fucking crazy on human rights, and yeah, it's not good. There's so many places that need it. There's even like underdeveloped places that definitely need the government's overthrown. Anyway, I think I've said enough, so let's move on before I lose my throat. So, Pokemon Legends EA is still out, and fortunately it's still out, for fuck's sake. I don't think Nintendo will remove it, but fucking deserved if they do. If someone does, they should. But Jesus, like, it's still bad, like, the graphics are terrible, there's no bump maps at all. So it looks and plays like a Nintendo 64 game or PS2 game, if you're generous. I've seen better PS2 games, I think. From memory, like Sonic Heroes, obviously much better. Jesus, like, it's so fucking bad. But there's new Mega Evolutions, which I'm surprised about. I didn't realise I'd had so many, it makes sense to an extent. But these are questionable as well. Because I didn't like some of those that were revealed. Others, it kind of felt like, eh. So I'll go through them because there's a list by PokeBeach, which is quite handy. I tried looking for one like a few minutes ago actually, and none of them showed the images. I want to go through some of them because I've heard things about them. Mega Café has like a hat thing, but also some wings, which I don't know. The hat thing I'm not sure about, but the wings are kind of cool. Can't complain. Mega Victory Bell already saw, already didn't like that much. They didn't really need a Mega Evolution. Nobody really likes Mega Victory Bell that much. Also, does Clefable become Fairy Fly? I think that's new. Maybe Victory Bell Poison Grass. Overall, this Mega Starmie is. What the fuck, man? Are you kidding me? This is the best you can do? Like, Starmie in general, it's the exact same Pokemon. It's just got legs. Like the style bottom stop it becomes like, it's so fucking bad. There's no effort in these. It's just terrible. God. That's bad. Mega Dragonite is already sort of mixed on. Seems to have grown some feathers and wings and a ball thing. It's okay. I do like Mega Meganium. I think it's pretty good. It's like multiple flowers. There's also some gradient as well, which is interesting. Mega Feraligatr. No. Becomes Water Dragon. Meganium becomes Crossfire, I keep forgetting to look at the matching types. Types, whatever. But Mega for Alligator looks awful. The animation, as if I did an image of that. Seems to be a unique animation. Is that? Like, it's actually like a bite thing. Judging by the image, it's still not great. Mega Skarmory, what the fuck? I was types of Mega Skarmory, but I want to compare it. Why is it short Mega anyway? Fuck off. Just a gold Skarmory with bigger, is it talons, the feet thing? Just really lazy. That's the best you can do. What the fuck? Mega Frostlass looks okay, but nightmarish. That's like an Oni, which is interesting. Mega Emball, not much difference compared to normal Emball from what I remember. Mega Frostlass Ice Ghost, Mega Emball. Firefighting, yeah, it doesn't look too different. It's just like extra flames and a spear or something. Just pretty lazy. There's not much going on there. Mega Extra Drill. It looks a bit different, for sure. Bigger drills, but that's it. But not great. Ground Steel, I think it was always Ground Steel. Mega Scolipede, what the fuck? I don't know what Scolipede looks like, but what? It changes colour, kind of. Bug Poison. Not sure about that one. Honestly, it still seems a bit lazy. It's very odd. Mega Scrofty. Okay, Mega Scrofty maybe compared to I don't know, like the normal one. Yeah, I'd say it's kind of improved. It's turned emo, wearing a hoodie now, and some proper trousers. Is he have to pull them up though? Or is he still holding them up? I can't see that in the image. So maybe he is, and he's dog fighting. It's alright. Mega Electros actually looks alright. For some reason becomes electric, even though it looks like it should be electric still. Which is weird. Like, let's type it again. Electros. Yes, a bit better. Judging by the images. Why does Google got this as a Legends EA image? It's not what it fucking looks like. The hell? Yeah, I would say it's slightly improved, but it needs to be a still type, I think, because it's got the plus and minus charges. It looks like it should be an electric still type. That's not good. Mega Chandelier. Ooh, okay, I like Chandelier as a Pokemon. It's kind of cool. Yeah, this one's actually good, I think. You know, it's basic and it works. It's also got a crown. But I like the fact that it's just like a bigger chandelier. Yeah, that is kind of cool. It's like one of those addition things that makes it better. Mega Chestnut. Oh god, I remember this being teased. I don't think there's much difference. Yeah. It's barely even different. It's like colour switching. There's really nothing going on. It's a bit spikier, I suppose. Yeah, not good. Mega Delphox. Already thought was okay. Mega Greninja, terrible. Mega Pyro. But Pyro's obviously a basic bitch anyway. Yeah, Pyro's really fucking lazy. It's just like an extra flame on top of the head. That is probably the laziest one yet. Jesus Christ. Like, no effect either, is there? What the hell are you doing? Mega Eternal Flight? Okay. What the fuck? I'm guessing this is a special Pokemon, because that seems a bit OP. Yeah. It's just got like a Star Trek thing coming from it. It's got a flower attached to itself and it's bloomed a sort of helicopter thing, I guess. Yeah, there's not really anything special. Mega Manimal already seen. Mega Bark, what the fuck? Mega Barbaric. That's a weird one. Um, I think I like it, but also hate it for good reasons, or in a good way. Mega Respawning Images. Yeah, it's like become a humanoid thing, not like proper, but with more arms. It's okay. Nothing special. Mega Dragagly. Okay. What could Dragagly look like? I know it's like the sort of water Pokemon, isn't it? No. Okay, it's actually alright. It's nothing special though. Is it? I'm trying to find where its body is. Like, that's the hard thing of looking at this image. It's hard to see. Yeah, I think it's alright though. It's not as special. Mega Hydrocha scene looks okay. Mega Complete Zygarde. What the hell? Complete Zygarde. Looks like that. Yeah, that thing. Looks like a transformer almost. Well, probably is actually. But I can't figure out what the hell this is. Like what? It's more green, but it's got something above it. It doesn't look humanoid anymore. It's really hard to tell. I don't understand what the fuck that is. But that's just terrible from the perspective that it doesn't make any sense. So no, I don't like that. Mega Drampar. What the... Let me look at Drampar again. I'm pretty sure I know. Yeah, that was that one. From Gen 7, wasn't it? But yeah, this Mega I don't understand much. Yeah. Actually, no, it's because of the website. For some reason they put it transparent without a fucking background colour, that's stupid. Yeah, probably misjudging some of these based on that. But actually, the Jump Up one's okay. Certainly an improvement, give it that. Mega Phalanx. Okay, Phalanx was already an interesting Pokemon. As soon as I put Phalanx with a PH, I was probably going to come out with porn or something. Yeah, like Mega Phalanx is an improvement. But it's another Transformer. Kind of cute, yeah. What the fuck though? Also, where's Mega? Oh, yeah, it's the DLC Mega Roger Mega. Yeah. I was just about to say, I wonder what they look like in game. Yeah, it's weirdly disappointing. Yeah, look at these and like, let me look at the X and Y. I'm pretty sure there's some here that are not great. Why are people putting their fan ones? Why are these always the top ones? Fuck off. I don't care. Yeah, so there's a Reddit post of these, yeah. The thing with these that make them look different is they look more intimidating. Like Venusaur definitely, X and Y Charizard, yep. Blastoise wasn't good. Beedrill was okay. I've got Pidgeotto, is that? Looks okay again. Mega Alakazam, looks a bit better than normal Alakazam. Mega Slowpoke, no. Mega Gengar was cool. Mega Gengar's cool, didn't make much sense. Mega Pinsir looks okay. Mega Gyarados is cool. Mega Terra, whatever. I'll just stop saying Mega. Yeah, Mega Terra looks okay. Mewtwo X, is that? Mewtwo X looks okay. Mega Y2. Actually, the Mega X one, the one that looks like a fighting Pokemon. Nah, that's really cool. I don't like that. Mega Anthro's cool. Mega Steelix looks cool. Mega Sizzle. Kind of just looks like Sizzle. Mega. What is that fucking Pokemon? It's the Beetle Pokemon. It looks okay. Mega Houndoom is actually cool. Oh, what was this one? I always forget the name. It's the green dragon Pokemon thing. Looks really cool. Mega Sceptile looks okay. Mega Mega Blaziken looks okay too. Mega. I forget the names. Jesus. All there no names on this. That's weird. Stamp Feeder, is that? Maybe? Yeah. I don't know. God of War looks okay. Sableye. This is kind of interesting. Mawil's definitely really good. It looks more intimidating. Mega. Oh, Aggron, that's it. Mega Aggron. That looks okay as well. Mega Medicham looks okay. But some of these fun ones, I don't remember some of these. Yeah, the Mega Electric Eye, I can't remember. Mega Shop Beater's cool. Mega Raptor looks good, yeah. Mega Raptor. Alturia looks good. Oh, what's that Pokemon? Oh, I don't know. This one is. It's a ghost type, I think. Mega Household's cool. Mega. Oh, I forgot this one. Lady? The ice hedge thing. Yeah, not great. Mega Salamence is cool. Mega Metagross. That doesn't look like Mega Metagross. Hang on. I think that one's wrong. No, it is. Okay. It just looks too similar to Metagross, so this shit. Mega Latios and Latios is kind of crap. Mega Kyogre and the other one, Groudon, looks good. Mega Rayquaza is awesome. It's probably my favourite one actually, of all of them. I always liked Rayquaza, but Mega Rayquaza was just, yeah. Mega Lopunny? I don't remember the Mega Lopunny. That's pretty good. Mega Garchomp, really intimidating, yep. Mega Korra is good. The Mega Abominable, was that? Not really. Mega Gallade, nah. Oh, what's that? Mega. It's not Fable, because we would have got that. I don't know, it's the other pinkish one, I think. Looks okay. Mega Giantsy, remember that? That shit was good. And then Mega Eternatus. I did Eternatus over Mega? I can't remember. Yeah, like, looking back on it, there's far more better ones in X and Y. And obviously Mega Alpha as we got that one too, and Gen 7 to an extent. Jesus, like, how do you fuck up this badly? It makes no sense. Like, what gives? How have you fucked up this badly? Like, I just lost my words. I don't understand what went wrong here. You have some of the most talented artists in supposedly the industry, and you fuck it up with something like this. You make the laziest Mega Evolutions ever known, even lazier than the fashion ones, and you just completely fuck it up. Like, what gives? I don't understand this shit. Like, why? This is a running Pokemon, and Lessons in Meme Culture already did a video on this, which I did watch before this technically, which is how I learned about it. But Jesus Christ, it's definitely screw loose in Game Freak's head. That's something not right here. So yeah, that's my reaction to that, and obviously Legends Arceus still looks like a pain in the Arceus. So where the fuck is Arceus? No, it's not Legends Arceus, it's ZA. Duh. Idiot. I got them confused for a second. Maybe for an entire 20 minutes. Yeah, another disappointment. It's not really. Move on. So, the other topic was actually about the reaction to Legend ZA. Because there were good reviews for it to start with, and there's probably actually a user critic score now. So I'll look at that. So about this thing for the last topic, I'll try to remember, and reaction to Scar and Fire. yeah. So what does the Metacritic say? Pokemon Legends TA user critic. Let's see. Yeah, not surprising. 4.3 out of 10, isn't it? It doesn't really say. Based on 68 user ratings. 8 out of 10, yeah. Yeah, like, people saying it's overpriced, yep, definitely. Obviously, that's Spanish. What the hell's that here? What is English? This weird. Someone gave it a 0. Jesus. Not really a good reason though. These are all like Switch 2 reviews, like this crazy thing. So it's just not finished really. And the issues I've seen are like quite big. There might be like a starving with the character, I'm not sure if it's actually a control issue. From again what I've seen, not played. There was other things, the graphics are terrible as usual, but there's like no foliage, there's no bump maps. It's just plain textures with low poly stuff. Just put on it. It's extremely lazy. There's barely anything with note there. I'm not sure about the battle system, I think people haven't really had many problems with it. But I actually did see one. Apparently you get spotted from a mile away and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, the foliage is terrible. I'm watching someone streamers now. The customization apparently isn't very good. And apparently you can't name Pokemon or something. If I heard that correctly. Yeah, like, there's nothing going for this at all. And the map is just based in the city. Like, it's boring. It's an idea, but it's not very well executed. Because I guarantee you people will just get bored of it in the end. I'll say lack of voice acting, the Mega Evolution sucked. Pretty sure there was another issue I remembered, but I've forgotten suddenly. No, it's completely left me. No, my brain's completely left me. I have to go and find it. I can't think of anything else. Actually, it's kind of all the problems it has. Yeah, it's severely embarrassing. And people who've played it will have a better idea of what's wrong with it. Because it's definitely more. That's post processing, which is a first, I think. Could be wrong. It's kind of lazy. There's just a lens flare. Doesn't actually look like it's done in real time, which is interesting. That should just look like a cheap animation. Yeah, I just don't know about this, but the thing is, we're even seeing Pokemon fans complaining about this now. It's like consistent. You go onto the Pokemon subreddit, it's literally almost all there is. It's all about Legends EA being terrible, being bad. And there is another sort of revelation on that. Basically, people are realising that there's FOMO. So they're locking Mega Evolutions to seasonal content. What it is, however, is I don't know. I don't think they've even announced it. But apparently each season, which are 2 weeks long, it says in its post, you have a chance to get it. But they apparently repeat, but why the fuck are we locking this to that? Like, what happened to make it suddenly become this? It makes zero fucking sense. Given you can't use every single Pokemon in it, like, why are you even doing this? Live service model just makes no sense. The slightest. Why? Don't understand it. It's so bad. Apparently there's hand holding in it as well, which, yeah. The way the post sums it up. Cutscene 10 steps cutscene, cutscene, walking footsteps, cutscene, fight, cutscene, walking 2 steps, cutscene, fight, cutscene. Yeah, I've seen complaints about the reading as well, that's another thing. Have I talked about the leaked build? I can't remember. Apparently it's more finished than the leaked builds. Yeah, I've also seen problems with the competitive battling, which they're trying to force on players, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Just seen, apparently there are hackers in that. Cheated Pokemon, basically. Just so many weird things. Yeah, but players are just starting to realise that you get this issue here where it's a very unfinished game and it's very unenjoyable. Mostly unenjoyable anyway. It's just, yeah, it's more the reason that we need to start supporting other games instead. Because this point, Pokemon's dead to us. There's absolutely nothing going for it at this point. And given that Gen 11. Is it Gen 11? Hang on. Gen 10. It's supposed to be a big generation, and it might even be like another type, hopefully not. But I don't see how they're going to succeed with that. Because we've seen the issues, we've not seen them address a single one, and we keep seeing a consistent problem of this is bullshit, of creating new Pokemon every year, just doing whatever without any sort of proper direction. It makes no sense. I seriously do not understand it. Why are you making these games? Nobody likes them anymore. So it just makes zero sense. There's no profit in it either, so I don't understand it from that perspective. People know they're just going to drop the game anyway, and if they do get it somewhere for free, probably. Oh my god, I wouldn't want to be seen playing it. That's the main thing for me. Yeah, there are games I can tolerate being seen playing, but other games it's kind of like, nah. Like where if people probe me on it and ask them like, how was it? I wouldn't know what to say. It's just bad. Not why am I playing it? Oh, you see, paid money for it. It's not great though, so I can bother. Uh, so it's an embarrassment. It's not surprising, but the Pokemon community realised too late that the Pokemon company are just washed. Just dishing out slop and completely unnecessary content, and even an unnecessary game here. And on top of that, they're being extremely lazy, so there's not actually anything going for the Pokemon universe itself. I don't see anyone making a big deal out of the Mega Victory Bell, which was such a big deal. Even just a Mega Stormy. Oh, fuck me. It's a joke, right? Somebody please tell me it's a joke and wake me up. Not when September ends. Technically it ended 17 days ago. But when it's actually not fucking real. I can't believe that the reality we're in, not just from like the real world stuff, but even the things that we're supposed to find escapism in. Like games like TV even in some areas. It's just getting really bad. There's a reason I started learning a hobby in place of gaming. It's because gaming became unreliable and it became a complete joke. It began as a joke because people were seeing the many flaws of it. So naturally you wouldn't want to play it. You don't want to get involved in these games at all. But I sort of can tie in a interesting bit with what is it? It's a recent post I saw. Oh god, what was it? There's like also gaming, like why are people wanting like single player games or live service games even? Like, why do they want them to be grinding out it? It's because people are just bored, I think, and because games are so bad, they end up going from one to another. If you look at Fortnite, it's a grindy as fuck game, but nobody wants to play it because that's the problem with it. But those that do play it and like the things that are in it are going to stick with that because again it has those things that people enjoy. You know, imagine playing as Peter Griffin in a fucking Fortnite game. Like, that's nuts. Even playing as dwarves now, they've got deeper classic in it now. Yeah, people might try it, but that's what gives it the shit that it has. That's what gives it the popularity. It sucks. So I don't understand, in all honesty. It's just worrying. So this trend of grinding games, which no doubt Pokemon Legends EA is becoming anyway, just from the season stuff, it's not a good sign. Not a good sign for Pokemon as well. I don't know. Yeah, so I don't know what else to add to this. Yeah, Pokemon sucks, and live services and grinding games just suck in general. I even haven't played Final Fantasy 14 here for over 2,000 hours now. I wish it was shorter. There's a lot of things that can be shortened. The relic weapons, for example, the leveling experience, for example. If you actually play these fucking games as a developer, well, a developer playing as a player, for that matter, so I have to keep mentioning as a difference, because playtesting is different to gameplay. Because playtesting isn't gameplay. So a localized area, you're just playing a specific thing, a specific scenario, with commands, with cheats usually. That's not gameplay. So you can't ever hope to make a decent game, let alone system, like in Final Fantasy 14 here, without actually doing the gameplay. And so far it's been demonstrated many times here, there's been no gameplay testing. It's just been testing the performance and shit, checking that it works, but that's it. So, yeah, games like this need to change, just obviously. Don't really know what else to add, pretty much covered everything here. So I got distracted by Jesus for my pig with stew. What the fuck is going on? Why is there an Eevee on water? Swimming? Okay, interesting. Anyway, let's move on. I was just thinking about this briefly after being a bit angry about someone eating animal products. It's always frustrating. I was wondering about what is the hardest question to answer, or even find an answer for. There are things that come to mind, obviously, you know, meaning of life, but we can't know. There's gonna be other things, I guess, like I don't know, like politics and something. Again, like maybe in the universe, like there are obviously many hard questions that you can ask. But strictly speaking, in a societal sense, I think there are plenty there as well. You know, I often hear people talk about real crime and say, well, why the hell did they do that? Like, what causes them to do this? Like, why would they ever do it? That sort of thing. And yeah, these are questions. I wouldn't say they're good questions. They certainly do give you the sense that there's obviously a lot that sort of needs answering here. A lot to figure out. But yeah, why do people become serial killers? Why do people become, well, the other things that are terrible? It's genuinely hard to answer, and there is no like real answer for that. I think by far the one that takes the cake for me is actually one that it pretty much divides people, which is probably the more interesting question, I suppose. And that question is, why do people eat meat? It sounds dumb, it sounds simple. And people come up with an answer like, eat it for protein, eat it for taste, and just eat it because they're used to it, that sort of thing. And I don't understand the answers. That's the thing that always gets me. Because knowing what I know about, say, the meat industry and stuff, it gets me thinking about where these products come from and what even the cost is to get them. Because most people pretty much know that meat is essentially derived from a dead animal, often a rotting animal, because that's probably where they come from. They don't actually care about that in the industry, so they just give you rotting animals anyway. But that's often what it is. That's pretty much what meat is. It's a dead animal. And I've seen it acknowledged a lot where people just call it animal flesh and dead animal, because that's what it actually is. It's not meat. Meat is just the artificial label we've assigned to it to describe it as a product. But you can't actually describe someone's life as a product. You know, it's like calling, like, cannibalism. If you cannibalize a human, is that human suddenly meat? Because by the very definition, yeah. And it's the same with household pets. So you have this complete nonsense with definitions. Because now we're talking about how meat is defined and what constitutes meat. But other than brushing aside the obvious sexual implication of meat, you know, that is a probably better word to use, honestly, in terms of describing that. I mean, it's not good for describing like food or consuming products and stuff. It's just not great. I I find it so hard to understand why people can answer this knowing full well that an animal has to be killed. Another life, one that feels pain and emotion the same way that humans do. It just completely baffles me. I don't understand how people can't make that connection. Especially if you switch the scenarios, if you switch the places, like if it's just, I don't know, someone in your family or even just someone, just some pet. Like, it's quite a bizarre question and answer, really. Because at the end of the day, it's hard to wrap my head around whether people are serious or not, whether they actually understand that meat has to come from murder. And it just baffles me, like, this happens in the trillions, just on a yearly basis. There are millions that die each day for meat, which always sucks because, you know, guarantee you that the animals don't want to die. They don't want to feel pain either, they just want to live their life. And live a happy, fulfilling life for that matter. No, that doesn't happen. Only because people choose to ignore the fact that they actually killed for meat. But then it sort of comes with another question that's hard to answer. Because, you know, other than it being hard to answer from the perspective of just trying to justify eating meat when there's obvious murder involved, and animal abuse, because let's not forget this comes from these industries that abuse them just as industry practice, not because people are doing it for fun. There's also a question of, oh fuck, I forgot what I was going. That's ADHD for you. Just makes you forget. I'll probably remember it again at some point. Yeah. Um, I can't remember what the question is. I might remember at some point. I do find it very difficult to answer. Yeah. So one can ask myself, I guess what stops people from giving up even? Because nowadays you've got so many different alternatives. And by the way, meat is not supposed to be cheap, it's supposed to be a luxury item. And obviously done in moderation, which it's not at the moment, and that's why people die so often. Oh, Jesus, but yeah, how do people not really think that giving up meat to go with like a plant-based alternative is, how is that not a good thing? And at what point do people just say that, okay, you got me, yeah, I'm going vegan or something? But it's really hard to find that because, again, people are not honest and there's a lot of closed-mindedness and even defensiveness over rejection. And I do see the term cognitive dissonance thrown around a lot, which I don't fully grasp for some reason. Tried to learn it many times, but from what I could gather, it's just like it's something that completely goes over their head, and that's basically it. It's just means the topic goes over their head, even though it's right in front of them. Yeah, that sounds about right there. It's just so disappointing every time, and if you really think about it, like how the hell do you even justify it? I do not understand how you can continue to eat meat even when there's alternatives that do a much better job in most cases. Even then, healthy alternatives. I do love myself a bean burger because they're often pretty good. I wish I'd gone all Mexican based, but it's not because I hate Mexicans. Because I just don't really like the Mexican taste so much, as simply as that. There's probably like plenty of ways to do a bean burger without using the Mexican flavour. Just trying to think off the top of my head, you could make an American bean burger. Yeah, there's an idea for you. You could probably make an Indian one. It's perfectly possible. Pretty sure beans are used in some Indian dishes. It's like so many different ways you can make this sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't understand why that's not even done. But the alternative is just so much better. So much more varied and you have more freedom in it as well. Not to mention, with meat, you have to make sure it's cooked properly and not infected with fucking viruses, which, by the way, they have started to become because the industry has got so out of hand. But then there's like a third question here. How do you justify eating meat knowing it supports the most horrific kind of capitalism and oppression that we've probably ever known? Genuinely, how do you justify it? It sort of ties into all this surmounting evidence of how animal agriculture is inherently corrupt and morally bankrupt, for that matter. And they don't give a shit if it kills people, if it makes them suffer. They just care about making a profit. And it's the same with alligator animals. They don't care as long as the animals are providing them a source of revenue. So it all ties back to greed. And then there's the human rights element, which I brought up before about how slaughterhouse workers and farmers often can have issues. That there's PTSD, there's just uncontrolled anger and stuff, there's like domestic abusers even that go into these industries to take out on animals as well. You get plenty of dangerous people in these industries. You see it consistently. Whenever you look at videos where vegans have gone to these slaughterhouses or farms and they confront the farmers and they're always hostile. There's very rarely like a reasonable conversation, which I'm sure they'd highlight if there were a reasonable conversation. But yeah, I will say that sort of siding with the farmers here, if there is any, if it has been misrepresented, yeah, fair enough. You know, you got us, you got the vegans, but that doesn't make me wrong. It fucking sucks that you're being misrepresented, for sure. as it currently stands, there's only ever been an angry stereotype from what I've seen. And you even see it from so-called independent local farmers, where they persist with the angry stereotype, which again is what these people find in real life when they confront the farmers face to face. So it shows you a lot of what's going on in the human mind department. It's not to say mental health, but human mind. There's probably a lot of other things too. No doubt some trauma. Even just being brought up with that sort of thing, like being conditioned to treat animals that way, to exploit them. As I've said, exploitation is the enabler of abuse. That's just fundamentally what it is. If you see an exploit someone, I even find them myself with people. I know vulnerable people. I could easily take advantage of them. You'll know why I don't do that. Because I have morality. I think that's wrong. It's disgusting, and if I were in their situation, I'd hate it. I'd hate to be the one being used and abused for that matter. So why put this onto someone who's more vulnerable and innocent, like animals? It makes no sense. Every time I've argued about animal rights and veganism, nobody's actually provided a good counterpoint. It's very rare. I've even tried to do it myself as a form of honesty and open-mindedness. So I'm not so close to my beliefs in this that I think I live and die by them. It's certainly good enough that I can live by them, but again, I'm not so close that I think that there's no argument at all that can be made against it. There certainly is, but we're still waiting to see it. You just don't know who's going to say it. That's the strange thing. I don't know what else to add here. It's obvious that murdering animals is wrong. Fundamentally, that's still the question that was in about whether the first question, I mean, is still the most confusing question. Still the hardest one to actually answer. Actually, how do you eat meat? Like, why do you eat it? Knowing everything that's happening. I don't know. I could be wrong on this. As usual, over the years, I've strengthened my just worldview and morality over time, and it's become this essentially. It's become pretty much unbreakable. I've rarely even been confronted with a point of view where it's like, oh, you're obviously wrong. I've tried to debate these things as well, trying to figure out if I am wrong, but I've had people saying like, no, you're fine. And even then the oppositions are not always honest or even open-minded. So it's not always possible to get another perspective. Because if I met with something recently, where I've been accused of not understanding a topic, when I very well have, for example, anti-immigration, people saying that I don't understand the difference between legal and illegal immigration, when I very much do. One comes illegally, and that's through methods of transportation that's often very unorthodox, like boats or even just smuggling across the border. But the legal one is through either a remote process or travel through, like the government. Like, there's not really any other way, I don't think. Obviously, you just become a legal migrant by going through the government process. So it's like lawful versus unlawful. That also doesn't mean it's wrong. That's the thing that I don't understand about that either. Sort of going into another topic. Why are people sucking up the law? I don't get it. I don't know why people still follow this shit. Because frankly, even though you might want the police to do your dirty work, relying on them to actually enact justice and do the right thing is impossible. It's an impossible task at this point. And that's sort of why you find a lot of people who are against depression and fascism end up being vegan or environmentally friendly, eco-conscious even, I might as well say, and even health conscious. Because it's all kind of linked, and all these issues stem from one thing or another, and it's often billionaires that are the problem. Yeah, like people are just getting fed up, and you know, something has to be done. I think I've said all I can there. I can't remember what I was saying before that. There was something else. I kind of keep forgetting ADHD man. Uh, the world's stuff are complicated in areas, but it shouldn't have to be a legality, does it? Yeah, legality isn't morality. It isn't always morality, but it can be in some cases. For sure, there's issues with it because it means that innocent people can be just hurt, unnecessarily so. And it does mean that certain people will just get away with their crimes. This is why I say that I don't obey the law. I don't agree with it, so I don't obey, I don't consent. And to me, that's far more important because morality is a stronger thing. Morality, in my view, and no matter what morality people have, as long as it involves empathy and understanding each other, again being open-minded, it's a pretty solid moral worldview, and that's far superior than the law, because the law won't enact that. It's not going to look at the animal agriculture and say that, oh, yeah, you're obviously doing something illegal. You're abusing those animals. Like, I guess we'll send the animal welfare checkers over. Here's the date and time. Like, you're fucking kidding me. This is why people go undercover and break in and record it. It's because we have stupid shit like this. But obviously, if you schedule it, there's going to be a proper welfare check, and even if it sounds like a rumour, even like a leak. But yeah, that's just shitty. You know, if you're doing a welfare check, you need to have regulations. You need to have standards. Not laws, standards. Yeah, that just frustrates me. You know, as you can expect, no justice is even taken when even people do the undercover stuff or even whistleblowing. So it's a completely broken system. It's why I don't follow the law. And with how billionaires are trying to steal from us all the time, of course I won't obey it. I won't obey them, I won't obey the law. And I suppose it brings up another scenario. What if I were to actually obey the law if it was someone I agree with? So say the Green Party here in the UK. In that case, I wouldn't be fully for it, because I still think it won't work even in the right system, with the right political party. I think it'll still have issues. And that's simply because you can't address everything at once as a political party. Now, one of the things I commonly complain about is the lack of rehabilitation and awareness around certain topics. You know, I won't bring up the usuals, but there are definitely other things that completely get undermined and stuff. You know, autism is commonly not treated with any sort of respect by governments, let alone benefits, because believe it or not, autism is quite expensive. And I'm sure most wish it weren't that way, but that's unfortunately the nature of it when you have hyperfixations. You should also be required to do a test so that you can determine how much you should earn. That would be a good way to address it. You know, that will show what people need. And you know, there should be regular tests as well to check, like, okay, how are you feeling this year? Do you need more money or even like request something? But that's where like the legal route just fails, because if you do things legally every time, even like copyright, for example, throwing another thing here, it just never works out. It makes people miserable, and they just fucking hate the system to begin with. So yeah, like currently we're seeing that. Speaking like with copyright and even something like benefits in the UK. Given that they're trying to take these things away, like the benefits, and then the copyright is trying to take away your right to use something, or even just listen to music, or use music, which by the way is promotion, free promotion for that matter. It's just completely fucked. So yeah, nobody wants to obey those laws, of course. Like, fuck them. Is it even like for another thing? It's like games preservation. Somebody's going to do it. There's no doubt like plenty of people out there who are having these emulators and stuff that are being taken down constantly and installing them onto multiple different drives as backups, and just to preserve these things, because they know at some point whoever's uploading this stuff will get targeted. Again, the problem with copyright and law, because law does play a role in this. The people who do that end up benefiting the most, because in life, like, you could share that with people. You could definitely, you could possibly even profit off it, although it's not impossible at that point. It's definitely a better option than going to the source, especially when they're not preserving it, because the source will be more expensive, given that there's already a preservation issue to begin with. Yeah, like these people doing the right thing. Like, in a moral worldview, it's the right thing to do. In fact, most piracy can be. It's not always the case, but when games are bad, they absolutely deserve it. I don't understand why people find it so hard to wrap their heads around that. It just doesn't make sense. So, yeah, I've talked enough. I'm gonna have to move on because I've talked too much and I need to do stuff. Anyway, so let's go. Well, I've got a interesting topic, I suppose. Kind of. It's related to music, and the next one will be as well. I could probably say. I might actually play something, I'll try to, and fail. But the first one, I think my meds were impacting my writing ability. Because when I look back on the covers I made in the last year, being on those meds, I found myself just disappointed consistently. A lot of them were just like, yeah, they're not the best. Can I see a date on this? Why the fuck does Fox keep doing this? Jesus, I only want to see the date. Why is it so hard? I still can't see it. I have to scroll. Fuck. Part of the shit. Anyway, that's good enough. I'm trying to turn on my foot. It's cold. You just get cold in general anyway. That's iron deficiency for you. And nobody cares. Yeah, I was on Metazapine? I can't even remember the name. I think it was Metazapine. But I was also on HYPERPEACE for a while as well. Those were the ones that I had anyway. And since starting them, the quality of my covers have been very mixed. I think I started them back in April last year. Yeah, when I was still at that place. Yeah, and looking at the colours and stuff I did, it definitely wasn't my best era. Diamond in the Sky was good. Snail's House, that one was okay. The Scourge of the Universe was really good. Symphony of Night, okay. The Only Thing That Fears You, Bossa Nova was okay as well. Everybody's Free was good, and that's when I moved roughly, sometime after that. Not during that actually. Ink on Dry was terrible, didn't even realise it was a better version. So that confused me a bit, caught me off guard. Main theme for Wii Sports Resort. And all of Christmas Doom, I remade that. Deep Rock Galactic, I did the Fallen, it's good. Question by Freenan Igumi. I have to concentrate. Doing this wrong. It's playing darts in Final Fantasy 14. Oh, Jesus. Game corner, not good. I'm faulted. What's going on? Why is this guy's such a long cutscene? That's frustrating. I should have just waited. Ragtime Orchestra after you've gone, I really like that one actually. It's pretty unique. What actually get here, the Tomato Cubes, that's good. Living in the City, I don't remember much about it, so probably not great. Smash Mouth All Star Parody, lyrically genius, but instrumentally it's meh. Especially as it's metal. It's a metal cover. Trying to think, what else is there? Aquaman stage theme. I like that one. That was one of my favourite covers as well. This year, 2025. Did Spring on Zone cover, which is alright. The We Are metal cover for One Piece. Moon Beach stage, I don't remember much of, but I think I didn't make a good one. But this is like post stopping the medication. I stopped it around April. Yeah, and these were made in May, so that changed. And Can You Feel the Sunshine? I did. Yeah, I think that one was okay. If you tried a different thing with that. And then I started on the Deltarune ones after that. It's just certainly interesting. It's from now on the first Deltarune track I did from chapter 3-4. Then there's Galar Mines theme, which was meh. I remember that being very meh. Just wasn't that happy with it in the end. So it's just kind of like, yeah, give or take. Give and take. God, I've been doing this wrong. Third Sanctuary from Deltarune again. Again? Yeah, Deltarune again, yeah, certainly. Delta Heavy Ghost I really liked. I can't do two things at once. Jesus Christ, I'm fucking this up. Then Ride the Rhythm metal cover, which I was actually doing during that technically. But I ended up not doing that because of doing the cover for, see, the Ghost, not Ghost the band, Ghost the song. But I decided to prioritise that because of the Clippy movement, and that song being about Clippy, weirdly enough, sort of had a music video about it. Yeah, I think it was okay. It wasn't amazing. I think people could have done better than me if they did. Then it's Mr. Vane, which I really liked, and Skizzy Aquatic Ambience, which was really good. So yeah, I've noticed a trend compared to last year that it seems to have improved over time. I did quite a few different covers and I seem to get through them quite quickly now, which is interesting. They take around 2 to 3 weeks to do, maybe more depending on what it is. So it really depends. But talking about the medication, the one thing that would have made an impact on me for the negative ways is probably the what the fuck is it called? I'm concentrating. Probably the side effect of sleep and drowsiness. Well, it did seem to make my brain lag and remove the hyperactivity that I would have always had, which I have now completely, and I can talk really fast for some reason because that's what I can do now without the medication in my mind. But yeah, something like that. That's literally what's happening, and I never used to be able to do this. It's fucking nuts what that medication did to me for the worst, really. Yeah, it's bad how bad the medication is. It really ties into this conversation I was going to go into about the danger of giving people a medication to treat something when it gives more problems. If I was having a job, if I was like holding down a job basically in music, let's say something creative, maybe even not, I'd be fired in an instant. You don't know why that would happen? Because the medication fucks me that badly. It literally squanders my creativity and thought patterns in a way where I can't literally do it properly. So I'm completely fucked from that perspective because I'm not able to do what I used to do or what they know me to do. So I am literally fucked over by this damn medication. And that's the problem. Medication could be good for some, but it's not always going to be the problem solver. In fact, it could be the problem maker. And that's a big difference, really. That's where it goes wrong. Conversation. In my case, it kind of didn't. It actually did make me improve a bit though, which is interesting. You know, that's the problem. It causes so many side effects that you can lose track, but you can also think, like, yeah, I'm struggling still. Yeah, you actually feel like you're struggling. So it really brings into question the ethics around actually taking medication, even with the side effects. Because my line to draw is as minimal side effects as possible, and in general that horse medication, the mirtazapine, even though it's the lowest dose, I still had the side effects, and the doctors actually acknowledged for once, not anymore after I'd stopped taking it for some reason, but when I confronted them about it, I said, like, hey, I'm on this lowest dose, why am I still getting side effects from this shit? And they actually said, like, oh, you must be sensitive. I was like, I've been saying that for the last few fucking years, you idiots. Of course I'm sensitive. That's what I've been saying. I don't get it. So it just confuses me in that sense, because why the hell are they now saying this shit? When I told them that to begin with. And they haven't acknowledged it since, which is annoying because they've tried to get me on other medication instead. So again, it feels very compromising in the worst possible way. And it's really not something I need at the moment, especially now. But even though I'm feeling burnt out, depressed, that's because of my living situation. I don't think it's just because of things in general. I'm actually happy with my life, other than the things that bother me. Even then, my therapy place let me down because they lied to me. I asked for autistic specific treatment, therapy basically, and what they gave me instead was self-help bullshit and just complete lack of understanding of it. So they never actually gave a shit. It's absolutely crazy. So yeah, of course it impacted my ability, and I was also stressed on the medication. I felt like the stress was coming from that in the end because I didn't have any reason to believe that it would be anything else in my life or in and or around me. I'm not sure if that's even a phrase. Hang on, I've got a winning free liner here. Hang on. 1, 2. Yeah, oh shit, okay. Well, that's gonna be the one. Hopefully. Playing Wondrous Tales and Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, I just don't like the medication and what it even does nowadays. Again, why the hell would I compromise when I could actually be off the medication, find a way to cope with no side effects, which is the important part here. Because again, the side effects can cause problems, it can cause people to get mad, it can cause them stress, it can cause them even more depression. There are many things that could go wrong with it, and the doctors need to acknowledge that instead of looking at treating the symptoms. Because they need to discuss that with the patient. Otherwise, it's simply abusive practice. Yeah. There's no other way I could put it, it's just abusive practice to put someone on a medication without discussing the side effects, without discussing the potential harm they can do and how it can lead you there. It's not even like a 10-minute appointment, let's be honest. It's probably like 30 minutes if you discuss every single aspect. It depends on the person. But that's the thing. You need to have these conversations rather than these quick visits, which is actually destroying the NHS at the moment. You know, it's destroyed me because I simply don't have any legs to stand on anymore because I have no way to treat my issues. And people can't seem to give a shit enough to look at, okay, here's the side effects that you told me you're bothered by. Let's try this. I've never done anything like that. I've never received any sort of help like this. And I just gave you a free fucking solution that would work for, I guarantee, at least 90% people. So I don't get it. But yeah, the NHS sucks. Big Pharma sucks, as usual. So yeah, I'm glad I'm off the medication. It's definitely helped my writing ability, and it's something that I can look back on with pride. And you know, I can actually sort of play these tracks without sort of cringing. I even play them to people. Well, I would, because I don't really think they like it. They're not really that sort of type of people. I don't really know any metalheads other than someone in my family. I think there's only one person. No, two people actually, but the other one is not really modern metal. It's more classic metal, probably like Saxon, Iron Maiden. But that's fine. I do sort of reference them to an extent. Not a massive amount, but I do try to make riffs similar. I suppose I could try more doing that now. Yeah, so that's a topic, I guess. Education sucks, yeah, that's it. So, I'm going to talk about the Spark Go by Positive Grid. This is a product I came across through the Andertons channel, which is a pretty good music channel, to be honest. It's a bit controversial in the sense that they have a controversial figure on there, and a controversial company, for that matter. Starts with R, ends with N. But it's a very good channel for at least unbiased sort of reviews and like recommendations. It's one of the few channels that actually does it. It's surprising because there's many guitar channels on there, on YouTube, but not really enough sort of showcases and show-off shootouts, that's what I mean. And one of the products they reviewed, as I was researching for ways to get like an amp, it does everything and it's cheap and also minimal space. And after a while, I was giving up hope because there wasn't anything out there. Because I was getting frustrated. I couldn't find the thing that I wanted. I wanted a metal amp and a clean amp as well. Something that would do everything and also do reverb and delay. And I didn't want it on a computer because if this technology were to fail, and it does usually, then I would have no place to play my music or even practice it. So that's where the idea of an amp came in to my life. And I did a lot of research, and it turns out that the best option was actually this one. It's a mini amp, and this is not a review, by the way, it's like first impressions, but I'll explain the process of how I found it and why I got it. It's actually pretty good, in all honesty, so far. But there are some big caveats, just in my experience. It shows a lot of promise, but there are aspects where it's kind of like, no, that's not good. I'll start with the setup experience. Can't tell whether it's charged. The power button is hard to see. The front cover thing is fucking ugly as hell. So I switched immediately, which they luckily have a replacement cover on it, and you just unscrew a thing with a pick, which is kind of cool. That's literally the instruction they had. I was thinking, like, how the hell do you unscrew this? Oh, it says use a pick. So what the fuck? Yeah, sure. I do like that. That's clever. If I want to like innovating, I guess, or DIY maybe, I don't know what you call it. But that solved that problem, but the power cover is still a problem to me. I'm not sure what to do about it exactly. Maybe I do have some. Shit, I do still have some of that actually. See-through, not see-through, glow in the dark. There it is. Yeah, glow in the dark circle things, but it's quite big. So I won't be able to cut a circle with that actually. So maybe not. Maybe not near the stuff because it might just radiate or something. Pretty sure they have radiation and glow in the dark stuff. That's probably why I'm so ill. Boobies. Anyway. So yeah, it didn't take long to charge. I don't think I did charge it for like 30 minutes to make sure it was working and stuff. And I started testing it, and then I found the app. You scan the QR code, install the app. First big problem, you have to log in. You have to make an account and log in. Why? This is a device that seems to, well, it functions offline, so I don't understand what the deal is with that. So what the fuck? Why do we have to log in? Why isn't it not just an optional thing? And it kind of feels wrong because like, if I go to my email now, if they even send anything like spam mail or anything, because they do this typically, you sign up, see, usually be in junk, in my junk. I like playing my junk, but not that much. Okay, there's nothing, so maybe a bit of credit due there, but I have to wait and see for the following week. There could be some newsletter or subscribe or something, I don't know. They do a lot of random shit like that when you sign up, even though you're not allowed to untick it, like it doesn't show you any way to opt out. Which is stupid and I'm pretty sure illegal, so you'll hear from my non-existent lawyers. You've got Air here. He's been around everywhere, he's pretty much everywhere. He's in the US, he's in oxygen tanks, he's everywhere. Anyway, so I didn't like the login, it's just frustrating. But when I did it, it seemed to go fine, but then it asks you to connect the device, which had some problems. And let me double check, because it might have kicked me off my watch, my Bluetooth watch, no? Okay, it seems to have kept it, which is good. Maybe stream, if I play, if I put my phone on, like, let me check. Okay, streams on. Goes through the Bluetooth speaker. Fuck's sake. That's annoying. So, let's not do that. Yeah, you just heard it in action a bit. I was watching Penguin stream as they're playing Goblin Cleanup. So, kind of entertaining. I don't really pay much attention. Yeah, that seems to go through that. So the watch still works technically because it's playing and pausing it. Yeah, the setup was weird because it decided not to work. And after a few tries it decided to work. I don't get it. What the hell happened there? Like what? Are you shitting me? Like what? I don't know what the fuck even happened there. It's so weird. So when it connected it was fine. It went through to the tone stuff like pretty much immediately. I have some other menus, I didn't check them out. So I played with the tones and also turned down the volume because it's extremely fucking loud, as you could tell. That was on a low volume, believe it or not. But yeah, it seems to have a volume issue. Some music goes from like 0% to 25%, which is kind of nuts. That's not how you design a volume knob. You knobs. So I tried a few different tones and also plugged it in with a guitar cable. You need a guitar cable, I forgot about this. I thought it would come with one, but it didn't, and luckily I had one. I did check I had one before I bought this, so that did help. So I have a normal guitar cable. And I was quite surprised, in all honesty, the fact that it's just plug and play and pretty much no troubleshooting. And I could choose tones. There's definitely a good variety of tones. I quite like the metal ones, and was there a pop tone? Clean pop tone? I can't remember. Yeah, I think there was actually. It's like a clean chorus, which I love. I love green chorus. Green chorus? Clean chorus. I'll play that in a bit when I finish this Final Fantasy 14 thing. But yeah, like, there's not much to complain about this. In all honesty, the tone setup, the amount of customization, the settings, there's different options. It's actually not bad. So, and also you can download other users' stuff. I haven't tried it, but it's definitely something that you can check out if you ever do get this. I forgot to talk about like, the physical properties of the product, because some channels just do not fucking checklist stuff, which is really frustrating. So it's kind of large. I'd say it's like 5 inches, I think, long, and 2.5 inches tall. Just a rough guess, so it could be very wrong. It's got this little bit that you have to unscrew to put the handle on, which is kind of handy. So I do like that. On the other side, on the side, there is a power button and a USB-C and a LED indicator. I don't think there's anything else. There's also a Bluetooth indicator, I noticed that. I only just noticed. And on the top you got LEDs indicating the 4 channels which have your presets on, and a preset changing button. You also have a music increase volume, which I haven't used yet. I'm not really sure about because they seem to suggest AI, which is another shitty thing. There's also a lot of tutorials in the app, something I should mention. So if that pisses you off, good luck. And then there's a headphone jack, which is really good. This helps because, you know, if you have like just a simple 3.5mm headphone jack and you plug that in, it'll work because that's what it's there for. I haven't tried it yet, so maybe I will at some point in the future if I need to. Just a way to quietly practice, which is good. And yeah, also you got the jack for the guitar cable. It's quite big. I was quite surprised actually by the jack size. It's still the usual 2.5 inches or 3.5 inches? I can't remember which one it was. There's something like that. But for some reason it goes from the top, which is a bit awkward in all honesty. It would have made more sense and probably be more comfortable if it came from the side, or if you added an option for the side, made it a bit bigger, and had it go from the side. This would have been far more convenient for a lot of people, including myself. Because where it currently is, it feels like it sticks out really badly. So it just kind of sucks from that perspective. There's not really much you can do about it, I don't think. What else going on? Okay, I almost died. Final Fantasy. Yeah, so I wish it was on the side or something, if there's an option. Maybe even an adapter. Like, who knows, that could work. But yeah, it's definitely questionable in areas for sure. The weight is actually surprisingly, it's kind of heavy for what it is. It feels like it's about, let me see. It definitely feels like a kilogram to me, like dead on kilogram. I could be wrong how I weighed it myself. I don't weigh myself. I'm weightless. This it definitely isn't weightless. It's definitely got some girth to it. So if you were carrying it in like a guitar backpack, it will add to the weight. In all honesty, it probably will. And what about compared to guitar? Actually, it's kind of similar. Like on my Orsby HYPEX guitar, I think it is around 16, I believe. Could be wrong, as usual. And it kind of feels similar, which is very bizarre. I wasn't expecting that. I would have thought there would have been a lot of difference, but holding it by where it is, you know, the guitar's like twice as heavy as it, which is really concerning. Don't exactly understand why that is. That's the physical properties, and I've tested it with my computer. It doesn't work well at all. It frankly sucks. Do not use it on the computer. That's my advice. I'll explain why. Firstly, it asks me to update the firmware in the app itself, which is weird. Like, it asked me to update the firmware, but it asked me. Like, let that sink in. It asked. It didn't ask me to update. It just asked me to install it, which is weird. Like, and let me explain. Again, it asked me to go to a website, download a zip, and didn't really get to it. I didn't realise there was an instruction button there. And yeah, you had to download the zip and open it, but I couldn't do that on Android, so like what the fuck am I supposed to do? That made no sense. So I look it up and it tells you to do it through your computer. Like, bruh, that's shitty. Like, you can't just do that in the app itself? Like, via Bluetooth? Like, are you kidding me? So that's confusing. I don't get that. It just makes no sense to me. That's so stupid. But I did it anyway. Because I wanted to see what it was like on PC, realising it could work on there. Because I thought maybe this is my way to get a audio interface working on my PC with good audio quality, because yeah, this has good audio quality. It's really good actually. It's much better than the Rocksmith stuff, I'll say that. I'm very surprised there's actually a difference. But on the computer it's different. It doesn't sound that good. Which is very bizarre because it's a USB 3.2 slot, which it shouldn't have any issues processing this technically, but for some reason it did. The other thing is setting it up was a pain. It kept changing everything on my PC, it kept adding Still Series drivers for some reason. I don't know where these keep coming from, it's the second time it's happened. So that's annoying. I should run and install some bloatware like that. So I have to disable all them drivers and the thing itself. It also changed the speaker so that it was just using the Spark Go speaker, which is annoying. I was wearing headphones for fuck's sake. Like, can you not figure this out? So I had to disable that as well. And finally, it's just seemed to work, which is good. Also, you need to turn it on, that's the annoying thing. If you want to keep it on, I don't know if it'll last. But yeah, you have to turn it on to actually get it to work on the PC, which is like really counterintuitive. It's 2025, why are you doing this? Or whenever this came out. Or is it 2022 this came out or something? So why is it doing that? That's just so backwards. I don't understand how you fuck up that badly. So, I don't know. Trying to think what's the next thing. Yeah, I tried to get it working in the digital audio workstation. FL Studio for anyone wondering, with FL Studio ASIO, because that's the only driver that works properly anyway. So that also fucks me up a lot. And it did kind of work. It needed some setup as well, because there's a weird glitch with FL Studio at the moment where it will pick up my main microphone, like you're hearing now, this microphone, as the input device, which is bizarre even though it's not selected. So I have to fix that. I plugged and unplugged it, changed the drivers around that, fixed it actually. And yeah, finally I got around to getting this working. Big problem though. It was having massive static issues because it was on a USB hub. I changed it, then it still had a bit of static. It wasn't as bad, but it's still bad. It's noticeable. And it seemed to just change the audio, like not the input is from the audio itself. Which is very weird. So I don't understand what happened there. It makes no sense. So I don't know what happened. Again, that's bizarre. But I'm turning into Donald Trump for that memory loss. And then I tested it. I did it with the I don't know what you call it, III amp, or 20 something amp. I don't know what it's actually called. But it's by Auto Audio, and it sounded garbage. Honestly, I don't know if it was to do with my setup, but it just didn't sound right. But it sounds fine with the VSTs, so I don't understand what's going on there. Then I looked into the options because it seemed too loud to be crackling, and that seemed to be the issue. It's just too loud, which is weird. But why? How the hell is it too loud? It wasn't my guitars either. Like, the volume knobs were up. They weren't that high. But I fixed it, and it's just still sounded bad. I didn't hear really any detail in it. just bizarre. So I just ended up unplugging it in the end by saying, like, no, I was saying it. It's not the audio interface I've been waiting for. So yeah, that basically wasn't an option. But that's the PC experience. There wasn't really anything else to it. I wonder if there's an app for it. Like, that's weird. If there's an app for it, why isn't there software for it? Huh. Okay, that's another thing. That's wrong with it. Speaking of which, though, can it just work as a speaker plugged into your PC and just be an amp from the PC? Possibly, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's an interesting question, though, I guess. So I'm not sure. But the PC experience is terrible, and I'll just do some demonstrations with it, of the tones that I like. You know, after this Final Fantasy 14 dungeon, so I'll pause and then come back. So I've had to put it somewhere risky, because it won't. Actually, I'm an idiot. I could move my mic on. Fuck's sake. Let me do that. Right, I think this will do. It's about 6 inches from the mic, and just a sound, but it's not too loud. At the levels are not. Well, it's got a noise gate, so it's not picking up when I just play it like that. If I play it somewhat loudly, it works. But anyway, this is kind of how it sounds. It's this is the first preset, which is at the thing. That's it reset. Well, let me check. That doesn't sound right. No, it did not save. Okay. There's supposed to be a delay on that. So I have to use the app, which is annoying. So that's another complaint. Fuck's sake. Oh god. It's got a fucking stream. I wish Twitch didn't open like that. It's so fucking annoying. Also, I need to find the app as well, because it keeps installing it in this fucking hidden Android shit. Hobbies, put it in there. No, but it's just sort of a live thing. Have to connect. Is it already connected? Yeah, connect. Come on. Okay. It seems to take way longer than it should. So, can I see my different channels? Yeah. It says on the hardware. Okay, I think I've got it mixed up, actually. So, the metal rhythm is this one, actually, which is why it sounds so metal. It's called a Heavy Axe, and I didn't do any adjustments to this. This is a C-sharp standard. I forgot to tune it. I think it sounds right. I do the old 7, so drop F as well. That's a bit out of tune. Yeah, I do like the 5s instead of the harmonics because it's kind of easier to tune to. So I know what the next note sounds like. But yeah, I'm quite impressed with how the tone sounds. It's really good. And look at this, like, I like playing the jazz chords. Shit. Like, probably do something better. Periphery. I need to do more palm mutes. I need to do like full palm mute open chords. I could do one of these, I don't know what you call them. I like to sort of call them dime-bag chords because they're some of the most haunting and beautiful chords there are. And he does something like this in Floods. I'm butchering it. Yeah, so not bad for a rhythm. Yeah, not bad. That's my shitty playing. Stop that and move on to the next. So this is the lead, which I added reverb and delay to more of it. It sounds better with the Dimeback stuff, I said. Yeah, sounds pretty damn good. And also, like, some of the metalcore stuff actually didn't sound that bad. Yeah, so and also like kill switch engage sort of thing. And maybe it's like bends, boomer bends. Yeah, shit. So you probably can tell. Also, I did like a Steve Eiffel Love of God sort of pattern. Yeah, I do really like the lead as well. It's really good even for like just chords. I just made a ballad. Oh, that's alright. Yeah, because it's not an E standard, that's why I'm confused. But yeah, that's a really good lead tone, honestly. I'm impressed. Then we go on to the clean chorus, which is arguably my favourite. And then I like doing the Gorillaz Philbinic chords. They're also beautiful on this. I just realised I'm looking at a mountain of Final Fantasy 14 whilst doing that. It's like the meme. Wonder what the view's like from up there. Yeah, I do really like this. It's really impressive quality, honestly. As you know, all these virtual apps on the PC never sound quite right. And I'm not sure if it's because of what I'm using, like the VSTs. I've used like 4 or 5 different ones for the guitars, and 2 for the bass, and it never quite sounds right. And I've also got a bass tone as well, preloaded supposedly. And I can't tell if it's any good, because I'm not going to really bother getting my bass out, but anyway, let's try that. Also, can I switch to it on the phone? I can. Okay, that's handy. This is bass. It's not bad actually. What if I do like popping? Can I do slap on here as well? Kinda. Yeah, I'm still impressed by this actually. It's surprising. Yeah, I really do like this app, it's good. That's exactly what I wanted, in all honesty. So I can't complain about it too much. The price point is really fair for what it does again. And I'm pretty sure this works offline. If I were to disconnect it actually, let's do that. So disconnect, let's see. Yep, it stays. If I changed again, that's base. So yeah, and the ribbon, yeah, it works perfectly fine. An alcoholic. Yeah, so that's the first impressions. It's really good actually. I wasn't expecting to do this, but sure. And I'll just turn it off now and just put it away somewhere safe. Actually, it's just beside me. Like, I literally want to plug and play this shit. That's how it should work, and I'll turn it on now. Like, keep it like properly. Yeah, it's kept the tone, it's kept everything. You can probably hear it just a bit. Yeah, it's seriously impressive. Well, I'm really surprised. And I'll plug that back in so it charges and sort of fall for next time. Yeah, I could strongly recommend it so far. Maybe over time, as I use it more, maybe it'll lose its quality, maybe it'll lose some value in that sense. But still, it's impressive what it does so far. I could literally bring this around someone's house and that shit would just work. That's what's so impressive about it. It doesn't need much setup either. Just plug and play. It's insanely good. Again, it's just questionable with the ethics and stuff around it and the company maybe. I definitely don't like the fact that they're trying to encourage AI. App also has a metronome, if anyone was wondering, I forgot to say that. Yeah. That's it with the amp plugged into my asshole and playing and shit. So it works. It's good. That's all I could say. Well, I better do an outro for this because it probably has gone on long enough. I'll do the gigabyte check. Yep. Usually aim for around 18 to 22 gigabytes of file stuff for recording this, and usually that's an indication of quite a few hours. So yeah, thanks for listening, and I'll see you another time.